a story set in 1480 Schwarzwald, Germany, with a group of, well, what better way to put it, but monster hunters. Last session, our group of heroes were able to make some progress on selling their supplies from downing the most recent threat to Forsheim. However, they weren't exactly flush with cash to pay some of their bills, so they've had to exchange goods directly. But today, this brand new morning, they have the opportunity to auction off arguably their most valuable, or certainly their most numerous material, Aderjaeger. So starting off in the morning, who's making preparations? Who's getting ready to go? And who plans on going to the auction?
I think Breed is required to come.
I say Zygmunt would ask that Brita basically act as a hype man for this.
Now, are we just taking the blood to auction, or what else are we taking? The blood, the bile, or...
You can bring anything you want to the auction. Now, some of it might be able to sell, some of it you might not. The bile, you have to make a decision on whether you want to sell it or trade it. You can trade it for more stock for your
We probably need to trade some of it for medical supplies.
We're going to probably want to hold on to some of the black bile just for medical supplies. I know we probably can't, process it on our own, but we'd want to trade it along the way.
Wait, hang on, I might have processing. Yes, I have processing. Yeah, I need that.
Right, but actually, this is more of a question to the GM. Can she actually process it on the road into her own supplies?
She would need at least she'd need a laboratory in order to do so effectively. No, you can get those built onto cards, but you'll be looking at a pretty significant investment in funds.
Right.
Are those something that would be in this town?
They could build one for you, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's something I think speaking as the party's accountant, I think we need to see how much money we can make before we start making that sort of financial decision. Because we also have to consider getting, we need more hires, of course. We're actually pretty good on horses. Another thing we're going to need is upgrading our Kletterpanzerung.
Which was looked into last week by Berthold and Elena.
Yes.
You also have one working cart. You had one broken cart before, but thanks to some enterprising work by Jurgen, you now have one fixed cart.
And we also have 4/5 of a caravan guard.
Yes.
God bless that man.
Who is very aggressively defending the barrels outside. In fact, when you wake up in the morning, you would actually hear the sound of him chasing off some people on the street with his crutch.
You know, he, just lost his leg. It's not like this is a wound he had 10 years ago. This man is fucking insane.
Just
also a little drunk.
Little.
Okay.
I think we should probably bring everything that we have with us, regardless, so it's all in one place.
Well, including the plates, because those are
Oh, well, I mean, if you wanna, right? The plates are super heavy. I mean, we could probably drop the plates off with the smith, right?
Well, that's the thing.
We might want to leave a guard or something.
I would not leave the plates in that neighborhood unguarded.
Yeah, we would want to leave a guard or something there.
So one of us, basically.
Yes.
I mean, how much would it be to just hire someone, like one of the city guards, to look after him for us?
The city guards can always be bought again, though.
Thing is...
Yeah, city guards are not who you want to defend your property. I mean, you saw how well they defended the Adder.
Yeah.
On top of that. But mostly you have to realize they're not really there for you, they're there for Forsheim. So their obligation is protecting the town if they care enough. Even if you pay them, they won't necessarily give it the kind of attention versus actually hiring some reliable guards, which you can do when you have some money. Right now, you only have about 300 Reichsgulden as a party. Individually, you probably have about 100 or less, depending on what you've spent.
Well, Berthold would agree to go be the one to guard it because he was the one who was looking into the Kletterpanzerung. But currently they only have one cart, and that cart is probably going to be used to haul
The plate,
blood.
the plate is 300 pounds. We can strap that to a horse.
Are you willing to strap that to Adalbert?
We can strap that to Adalbert.
I mean,
Okay, you don't want to put it on his back, but if you rig up something for him to pull,
Or-
that's acceptable. You will break that horse's back.
yeah, 300 pounds is a lot. Even a man in armor's, I mean, you're looking, I mean, that would get close, but...
I mean, that's like 100 pounds shy.
Also worth noting that these plates are probably about 4 feet across.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, these are.
They're not teeny tiny little things.
We might be best just leaving
how many
them.
plates are there?
You have 300 pounds worth, which
So it's a plate.
probably... No, it's probably about 10 to 12 or so plates.
I mean, guys, really the simple solution is to leave the plates at the inn. We'll use those for Kletterpanzerung later. We can have the guy with the crutch guard them, since it's not a horrible neighborhood. We could probably even have the guy with the crutch and Berthold guard them.
I don't know that that's such a good idea. I don't know if this is still the case since reputation things have kind of reset, but out of character, yeah, that. In character, Elena would probably say something along the lines of, we kind of saw somebody following us back to the inn last night. I don't know that it's a good idea for us to do that.
But it's a good idea to take it to literally the shittiest neighborhood in the city and leave it guarded by the same 2 people? Actually, only 1 person.
No, I am not saying that's a good idea. I'm saying that we will want to keep it under guard and we might want to have one of us here as opposed to like pay off somebody else.
Right, that's why I said we could have Berthold guard it.
Then I agree, and I misheard because Zelina is deaf.
I'll chase anybody off that happens to get any funny looks at the plate.
At the same time, there's another pressing question. I think we've agreed that we're not going to be selling any of the bile, but what about the shards?
I'm assuming Orist is sleeping with them under his pillow at the moment, but since I don't really know, I'm gonna actually leave that to you as a party, because it'd be unfair for me to say that their condition.
I was gonna say that seems like more of an out of character kind of argument because it depends on whether or not Orist as a character is gonna come back. If it's something that we're gonna be able to use, then we should keep it.
Because we use that to make Aderwafa? Or no? Is that what we use shards for?
Small plate is a component in Aderwafa. However, its primary use is upgrading your Kletterpanzerung.
Okay. No, the shards.
No. Well, shards are used for making Aderwafa. They're also valuable for tinkerers, engineering guilds.
So Oris has that in a safe, tucked underneath his bed, triple locked, and
Yes, of some sort.
Yeah.
Some mechanical device securing it.
puzzle box.
Yeah. I mean, shards are also useful for minor items like shard lamps, which are basically quasi-magical glow sticks. They kind of replace oil lanterns because overall they produce as much light and they're completely waterproof and windproof. Fairly handy things to have when you're out in the wilderness.
Right, but we've got 19. And
So maybe bring 5 to sell? Just
Well,
in case the blood doesn't go as...
out of character, we're down our Tinkerer, and we don't know if or when Dan's going to be back. There's a very good chance we'd get be able to gain more shards before he returns.
True. Shards can be gained not just from adders, they can also be gained from shard beasts.
Yep.
It seems like it would be in our best interest to
We
sell
do need to
the
build up the
stuff
cart.
now.
Yeah, we need to build the company and
Now, we can keep some. I don't think it would be wise to sell them all because they're, like Jay said, they are a component of Aderjaeger. So it would
Could we maybe keep one per person then, or?
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm leaning towards, and we've got a party
That
of
was my thought.
six.
five and question mark.
Yeah, 5 and a
Yeah,
question
we'll
mark.
keep 6.
Yeah, so we
Yeah.
would have 13 to sell.
Sure.
Okay. Anybody disagree with that?
Nope.
You are
Also-
the company accountant.
I have to ask, is the icon for food in the left corner just a pile of meat?
Yeah.
Basically, yes.
It looks like mushed meat.
There's a few
Yep.
bones sticking out of that.
That's a McRib.
Looks like
Uh,
looks like fine eating.
Yeah.
That would be Snurgles McRib.
Oh my.
No,
It's
it's
not
a,
a- what you-
eating Snurgles McRib though.
it's a McAdder.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba! It took us forever to kill this thing.
And now we're mutating because we ate it. It's very popular amongst the wall shot.
It sounds like McDonald's in general, right? You
Uh,
might get
Yeah.
cancer from eating it.
Mutates you into a cult? Yeah, we're good. This is canon.
I mean, that's what I had
Anyway.
for lunch.
your daylight is burning somewhere.
Alright, then, yes, I think we've got a plan. We'll bring to market 13 shards, the adder blood, and we'll hold onto the bile for personal purposes. Alright?
Okay.
Let's
And the
head to...
items you're not bringing?
The shards and the plate. Sounds like.
Well, can we fit it all into one cart? Reasonably?
No. The barrels are exceptionally heavy. You're going to be straining a lot just with the barrels and shards. Shards are not heavy, but the barrels altogether, that's about 2,100 pounds. It's
Okay.
158 gallons.
How much can a cart hold?
Well,
Well,
if we're straining with just the one, then we'll leave the plates behind, and
just
we'll
the-
go with our original plan of having Bertolt and Drunky McDrunkerson protect the plates.
Are we referring to me when we say
Oh, I
drunken
thought we were leaving the
McDrunkerson?
plates to begin with.
Oh, we're talking about the
Yeah.
one-legged
Yeah,
guard.
the caravan guard.
Dude.
Actually,
I wasn't sure if you meant me.
no. We're Berthold and the caravan guard will stay behind. We don't really need to bring the black bile, so we can leave that behind as well. So we'll just bring the shards and the adder blood.
okay. So you basically have a full cart now, and you have people guarding what remains at the inn. So,
And yeah, those of us who are traveling with the cart will basically act as the caravan guards.
Yep.
good choice. As the cart is loaded, you can hear it kind of strain. Even just these 4 barrels are a lot for this cart, and the 2 horses that are pulling it right now. It's not like the cart's gonna explode on you, but you're not sure you could fit much more. Like, you could not have probably fit you couldn't probably have moved 6 barrels on this cart. You would have needed a cart like the collectors had, which were the big metallic carts
Something
with
to
the big,
upgrade to.
wide, solid wheels.
Yeah.
Anyway, as you head out, you know where it's not hard to find where the market is, and it's really quite easy to see there are multiple auctions going on. How would you like to proceed with this? What are you looking for in an auctioneer or an auction place? Most populated, most secure? What?
Oh, you're going to be looking for most secure, definitely.
Yeah, say somewhere between the two.
Wealthiest
I don't want
customer.
one that's chasing off everybody, but
Yeah. But
Well,
something.
there's several open auctioneering sites going on. These I wouldn't say look lowly because you can see people of all sorts of clothing styles in the crowd. But it's literally open. The auctioneer's stand is just a stand, and it's in the middle of the market, and they seem to be doing a brisk business. shards, small things, small bits of adder plate, just, arms, people, slaves, etc., everything going through. But there is also several places around the sort of the border of the market area that you can actually tell are actually enclosed. These are brick and mortar establishments, and many of them have, I wouldn't quite call them a beer garden, but, they're smaller courtyards where the auctioneering goes on behind closed doors.
Elena would turn to Jurgen at this point and be like, hey, have we set up anything with any particular establishment, or are we just going to go up to the nearest person and just be like, here's our stuff?
Well, we'll have to talk to one of the auction houses and see if we can get our goods on the market today.
Great. At this point, Elena would walk up to the open market, the guy in the center kind of area. We're talking about, I think the first guy you mentioned.
The first auctioneer, which is
Yeah.
just kind of the general market area.
Yes, and she would kind of very, not grandiose, but very bright, very welcoming, like Guten Tag as loud as she can in a sing-song voice, waving her hand, kind of jog up to him and say, my friend here has something that he thinks you might be interested in. And she would maybe grab Jurgen by the arm and kind of drag him behind her.
Well, the auctioneer looks over at you, and he kind of casts you a confused eye, but after you say he has something to sell, you can tell his demeanor changes quite quickly. He's just like, oh, yes, of course. What is it that you'd like to sell today? We sell everything here.
Well, principally, we have shards and adder blood to sell.
The auctioneer whistles. That's some valuable stuff. I mean, we do some of that trading here, but how much are you looking to move?
Jurgen would just kind of gesture over his shoulder towards the cart.
And the auctioneer just kind of takes a step forward and looks over your shoulder and says, "Ooh, that's more than we've had through here in a long time. What kind of asking price are you looking for?"
Remind me again what the price on adder blood per gallon is, please.
The average price is 1,000 Reichsgulden per gallon.
In that case, Jurgen's gonna go,
Monster.
Oh no.
Oh no. He's brought it back! Anyways, Jurgen's going to say, well, at the moment we have about 150 gallons. He opens up his own personal ledger and checks his notes real quick before correcting himself. 158. Asking price, I think we could start at, 500 a gallon?
The auctioneer kind of looks at that and said, well, 500 is a little bit of a steep start. I'm not saying you won't get that, but I would recommend 350 to start. Pretty sure you'll have some competition. It's pretty valuable stuff, but 158 gallons, you might want to consider breaking that into smaller lots.
That actually sounds like a wonderful idea, both in terms of the splitting it up as well as lowering the price to start with. Jurgen, we're going to want to drive up the price as we go, and if we sell it in smaller lots, people will think that we only have a certain amount, which will drive up demand.
You don't think they can see all this behind us?
They don't know what it is.
They're going to figure it out as soon as we start ladling it out. But dividing it up into smaller lots is a good idea, and I think lowering the starting bid might be a good idea.
Would it be worthwhile for us to take some of it back to the inn and store it until such time as we get payment. Clearly, you've seen that we have the amount. So could we not arrange for our buyers to collect it from the inn instead?
I'm sorry, but anything sold today has to go out today by the time the sun sets.
Well, they
So
could certainly pick it up from the inn.
That's not how this will
that
work.
will not work out well.
No.
On top of that, you are, of course, aware of the 19% premium, right?
I don't think we were. Were we, Jurgen?
Jurgen was definitely aware that there was a premium, but how gouging is a 19% premium?
In real life, not at all. Back
Yeah.
then, I don't know.
Well, compared to
Historically, I
maybe,
have no evidence to go
but compared to, say, other auction houses, if Jurgen...
18% is pretty standard nowadays.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds...
More if it's
not bad.
online.
Jurgen takes a sort of a long look at the man, sort of eyes him up and down with that deep frown set in his face. Just a long moment of silence staring at this man before inclining his head and saying, "Yes, that is a fair asking price for your services."
Elena smiles brilliantly.
So, if you wouldn't mind my advice, I'd strongly recommend just selling it by the barrel. It's easier to show, for people to transport, and generally a little easier on the pocketbook than buying directly all barrels.
I agree, and also it'll make it easier than splitting it up into smaller quantities, which would be just a hassle. Now we
All right, then.
do have one partial barrel. Is that going to be much of a trouble?
No, we'll just tell them as it is.
Okay.
As long as we're forthcoming, I don't think they'll have too much trouble. In fact, to some of them, it may be easier if you were to offer that one by gallon, and have them bring their own barrel.
That would actually be... that would
Most
be a
people don't need, what are those, 42s? Most people don't need 42 gallons of adder blood. You've got a lot of shop owners here that only probably need 5-10 gallons at most for a year. Most of them just want to run their stoves and their heating units and their lamps.
Then I think it might be best if we auction off the partial barrel in 5-gallon increments. And as you said, we can have the purchasers bring their own barrels.
I think you'll do a lot better in that sense. We don't tend to do a lot of high-ticket items here, but we do a pretty brisk business. Lots of people flowing through. So if something of value comes for sale, you'll get attention, that's for sure.
Excellent. That'll help. Now, as for the shards, have you any experience dealing with those in your auction house?
We do, however, we don't have a very good way of storing them between display and purchase. You understand? They're a little bit harder, a little bit easier to, how should I say, steal than a barrel of adder blood.
Absolutely. Well, I think it wouldn't be too much for us to put them under our own lock and key while there's the transition from auction to purchase.
You can tell the auctioneer seems bothered a little bit. Listen, I don't want to tell you how to do your business, but this isn't really the best place to try to move shards.
What would you recommend?
Well, if you're not going to sell them directly to an organization, let me put it this way. Shards, though, everyone kind of needs them. As you know, the supply is, well, limited and lethal and generally unpleasant for most people to encounter. So when they come out into public view, especially any kind of looks I mean, are you holding on to something that would have the shards in it? Something that would be a volumetric is what I'm asking. Could he guesstimate how many shards you have on you?
I guess since Zygmunt is the biggest and scariest among us, he would probably have the shards with him.
He kind of looks over the bag. When you're carrying that much, you gotta understand that's a lot of money that you're literally showing off.
We might be better off selling this at the capital. It
Or to
seems
the
like it would
engineers
have,
guild.
yeah, it would have more of a better value with them. And we would also be placing less risk by selling it in private quarters as opposed to openly advertising the number of shards we have. In
Jurgen just
public
kind
forum
of
here.
holds up a finger and flashes a brief, insincere smile towards the auctioneer. A moment, if you would, please. And sort of grabs everyone that's been participating in this conversation with the auctioneer and sort of drags them a few feet back so that they can talk without him hearing. We still have the matter of our own finances. We may fetch a better price down the road, but it's not going to do us good now when we need the money.
Could we not just talk with the engineering guild now? We were talking with them fairly recently, I thought.
We could speak with the engineering guild and sell some of our shards directly to them, but I don't think
Seems best. Go ahead.
I don't think that this auction house will be the best place to sell our shards in the end.
I agree.
But we are probably going to have to move some of the ones we intend to sell at the very least before we leave Forsheim. We are very much in need of the money.
Elena nods her head. I don't disagree.
Jurgen sort of looks to the party for any disagreement before heading back to the man. And real quick, out of character question to you,
Sure.
Jay, and this is going to seem a little off color.
No.
About how much would it cost for like a full meal and a few beers at one of the local inns?
A full meal is going to cost you a single Reichsgulden. A beer would cost you probably less than for just a beer.
Well, I'm talking like a few rounds.
To feed your
of
whole
beer.
party, you could probably spend 5 to 10 Reichsgulden and walk out as if you'd been to an all-you-can-eat buffet.
And we'd be properly drunk too?
Probably properly drunk, yes.
Okay, then Jurgen's going to go ahead and pull out his own personal coin purse and fold 5 gold coins into the auctioneer's hands. And again, not so much... He's not going to smile, but he's just going to incline his head and say, "Thank you for the tip about moving our shards, but we will be taking them elsewhere."
Well, I understand, but you have to understand the reason I told you is not just for your safety. We put those kind of things on display and any kind of motions to the market. It puts a target on us too. Adderblood's one thing. It's hard to move. It's expensive. It's large. But you can pocket a shard. And I've seen those go for 20,000 apiece.
I understand, but my gratitude is sincere nonetheless for the advice. A lesser man, more tainted by the vices, would have simply seen our gold and been ready to try and make a profit, so I appreciate your earnest honesty.
He just nods. So, do you want me to start doing the bidding on the Aderblood, or
Please.
how would you like that?
Please, sir. One moment, though. And Jurgen steps back again, this time grabbing Brita. If you would be so kind as to make sure that the crowd is well populated for the bidding, I would very much appreciate it.
Gladly.
Thank you. And then he would nod at the auctioneer to indicate that yes, let's go ahead and get the bidding started.
Well, once you give the note, he kind of motions back to someone back behind the sort of, I wouldn't call it roughly built, because it's actually quite well built, but it is kind of all by itself in what, if it was raining, would be a big muddy field, effectively. Kind of motions to some people who are standing behind the lectern, and they kind of go and they start unloading the barrels of adder blood. Now, these probably good, strong men, but they still bring ramps with them. They're not going to take any chances that these casks are going to break. They know how valuable they are, not only to you, but to the auctioneer as well. So once unloaded, they're kind of put on little wheeled carriages, and the first one is kind of rolled up on stage. You've probably got 2 or 3 lots coming up before your first barrel. So if you want to try to draw people into the crowd, or you want to see who's already in the crowd, now would be the time to do that.
Well, Britta's gonna go basically start to mix around the crowd of attendees, basically, and try to start spreading the word of what they're selling, and get people to head over that way.
Okay. So you're going to go through the market crowd, or the people that are already standing in front of the...
No, the
auctioneer?
people who aren't already there,
Okay.
so, yeah.
So that would definitely be a persuasive,
Alright.
if I had to guess.
God! Really? I didn't use boobs. Wait, hang on. What does it really matter? I Horish adds 1 to Sanguine.
Yeah, it does.
Does that make it a
You've already
compromise?
added 1 to Sanguine, however. That's what
have
the
I?
2 is. Yeah, because you've got a 2 in Melancholic and a 2 in Sanguine.
Aha. Yeah.
Right,
so that
but,
bonus is already accounted for.
Oh.
Oh, I
Okay.
get it. Yeah.
Because remember, you have a 0, a -1, a 1, and a 2. So if you have 2 2s, you've already got a +1 somewhere.
Oh. God damn it. Alright. Well, I guess I am just... This crowd isn't really interested in my boobs. They're a bunch of gay men, I guess. I don't know. I tried.
It happened
but-
to be that the entire local convents have come out, and none of them care for your boobs.
Aw.
Before, what would be considered a good tip for the auction house guy?
Well, 19%. You don't really typically tip the auctioneer. He gets paid out of the reserve. Well, he gets paid out of the premium.
Elena would give him, so Elena, before they left, since he was so kind to the 2 of them, she would shake his hand, and within her hand she would hand over probably 10 Reichsgold as kind of a sincere thank you from her for his help. And then she would move out into the crowd, the marketplace, and instead of actually whispering about the particular wares that they have, she would start trying to spread rumors that the people that had downed the adder were amongst the market sellers today, and actively wondering aloud what sort of things they might be selling.
Okay.
I'm not sure what type of role that would be.
You're trying to... it's not really persuasive. Actually...
Melancholic?
Would it be calculating?
It might be calculating. I think that might probably be the way to go. Because you're kind of trying to... Okay, you got some people that have overheard you make those statements, and you got some people that have turned to kind of listen in on the auctioneer. I wouldn't say they've left whatever they were doing, but they're definitely you can tell some more people are paying attention.
My only other thought at this point is, let's put on a magic show.
Well,
Oh
you
no.
could juggle. But anyway,
it did not actually escape my thought to do something like, come one, come all.
Uh,
Let's not that.
the time has come, and the auctioneer has sort of wheeled the first barrel up, and you see one of the porters pop the cork on top and dip a long glass vial on a metal rod down into it and pulls it up as if to taste wine, and shows the sort of grayish blue blood of the adder, and then returns it and kind of dumps the blood back in the barrel before corking it up. The auctioneer kind of goes, Have your attention, please. We have several barrels of pure, recently caught adder blood just within the last few days. Ready for any use, in any home, kitchen, business, or otherwise. And it can be yours if you win today's auction. Let's start the bidding at a very generous 350 Reichsgold per gallon. And so there's sort of a murmuring around the crowd. And in the very sort of back middle, a black gauntleted hand raises up. You can't really see the man. There's a lot of people moving around. But you can kind of tell they're wearing a dark hood.
Jurgen immediately stiffens up.
The auctioneer points, we have 350. Do we hear 400? The crowd has all turned and looked at the man in the black hood. 350 going once. One of the merchants that had heard Elena's sort of thing walks away from his stand for a second and goes and says, 400. The auctioneer says, 400. We have 400. We have 450. The man in the black hood raises his hand again. We've got 450. Do we hear 500? At this point, someone else in the crowd kind of timidly steps forward towards the front and goes, 500. We got 500. Do we hear? And before he could even say 550, the man in black raises his hand again.
Zygmunt kind of leans in at Jurgen, seeing him kind of stiffen up at the man in the black cloak. He's a friend of yours.
Do you want to investigate, or you gonna let this guy continue to?
Well, I'm not. See, the problem is I want to investigate. Both me and in character, I want to investigate. But at the same time, I don't want to interfere with the auction.
So Elena at this point is kind of hidden amongst the crowd. I mean, she's not really recognized as being a part of the group, and she was one of the people that was talking. She could probably work her way over there pretty easily and bump into the guy, maybe try to palm something off of him to get more, figure out who he might be related to. I don't know if there's like a wallet in this day and age.
Well, there'd be pouches, and people carry small knives and all sorts of stuff you could potentially try to take. But you're nowhere near Jurgen, who could interrupt you from doing so.
Yeah, well, fuck.
So, you are free to do so if you'd like to.
She would try to, so she would have seen Jurgen kind of stiffen up from a distance, and she would try to make eye contact with him and kind of raise her eyes and is there something we need to be concerned about type deal. Depending on what his reaction to her eye contact, if he's even paying attention, if he's not too absorbed in staring down this guy with goo eyes, try to figure out from there where to go.
Jurgen catches her eye and looks at her and just simply shakes his head. Just no. And after that, he would sort of begin moving around the crowd to near where the exit would be, where somebody who had just won would be leaving. And he's going to wait. He's just going to wait.
Okay.
Brita's gonna kind of sashay over to hang out around that area too.
With 550, the auctioneer starts to call 550 going once. The crowd is pretty quiet. 550 going twice. And the auctioneer kind of waits because he's trying to get this selling for more gets him more money. So he wants you to do well. But the crowd just doesn't seem to want to bid against this man in black. 550 and sold to the man in the back. All right. Don't worry, folks. We have more barrels coming up. Not that many, though, so be sure to get your bids in. The crowd is all really little unsure about the person who just won. They're not sure how he's going to play it with more barrels. They all need their blood.
Is there going to be a brief pause between the first and second auction?
Only long enough to change the barrel.
Okay. During that time, Jurgen's going to more or less not so much muscle his way through the crowd, but he's not going to let people stop him as he approaches the man, and again dons that insincere smile before saying, "Well done, congratulations."
As you push forward, you're able to see some things that you could not see from outside the crowd. More specifically, you can see the color of the cloak he's wearing. From the shoulder down are 3 yellow stripes. But he's not wearing a face mask. You know this is at least someone, if not directly, pretending to be part of the Order of St. Michael. And in what you'd expect, the man doesn't reply. He does turn to look at you, but doesn't say anything in return.
Now, he's not wearing his mask today?
He's not wearing a mask.
What does he look like?
He looks just like he's got sort of darker skin than you would think typical for this area, almost Moorish. He's got scars all over his face. He looks very much like you'd almost expect a thug or a criminal to look, but he's very well built and he's wearing clothes, both cloak and garments underneath, of extremely fine quality.
Elena, by the way, is just going to, she's not going to intrude upon their bubble of conversation, but she's going to be kind of hovering around the outside, mostly paying attention to the auction, but also keeping within earshot and just kind of listening from the side.
Jurgen's going to, knowing what he does of the Order of St. Michael, he'll simply wait till the man looks at him before continuing and starting again. I know we had a bit of a conversation after the fresh kill, and I wanted to apologize for any unintended hostility on my part. The blood was still hot. We had just lost much of our company, and I must admit I was concerned. But it was disrespectful of me to act in such a way to the Order of St. Michael. He sort of drops those last words. I wouldn't say louder than necessary, but loud enough that his companions could hear, and also giving them the sort of weight they deserve.
The man just kind of nods at you, locks eyes with you very directly, and just nods. You're actually not entirely sure you've met this man before. But he doesn't seem to hold any ill will towards you. He is, like most of the Order of St. Michael you've met, quiet, obviously, stoic, and almost detached from what's going on around him.
Jurgen, again, he's sort of just, with his very clearly, I wouldn't say he's forced, it's a forced smile, but it's not because he's being an asshole, it's just because he's not a smiley person. Just kind of nods his head as well and takes a... hang on, one sec. Clear my brain. Little baby bubble bumper, whatever the fuck. Anyways.
What?
It's vocal warm-ups.
Okay.
Anyways, Jurgen inclines his head, gives the man like a proper, respectful nod, and then makes the mark of the cross over him and sort of takes a step back to let him return to the auction. Still going to stand relatively close to the man. He's going to try and get a better look at his clothes, what he's carrying, if he's armed, those sort of things, but otherwise not interfering with him or the auction.
Roll me something relating to your kind of perception, I guess I should say. However you want to do that.
I'm inclined to say that would either be calculating and methodical. Yeah, I'm gonna say that's melancholic.
Okay, so you're sort of logically looking him over. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, as the next auction begins, and the general, low-level bids begin, the man in black he seems pretty aware that you're looking at him. He, of course, doesn't object, but you do see that he kind of brushes his cloak aside when he notices that you're kind of looking at, the way his clothes and what he might be wearing underneath, and it's very obvious that he is armed. He's wearing a very, very finely made sword. Not overly decorated. There's no filigree or anything like that, but you can tell gold when you see gold.
Right.
It's a very typical, almost practical cruciform style, and it fits into a black sheath with gold fittings.
So would Elena have seen this from her vantage point, from without or outside of the bubble, basically?
Give me a roll. If you're outside the bubble, yes, you would have to roll for it. You're able to see at the very least that there's sort of a flash of steel. Specific details, not so much.
So my whole thing was I was wondering if Elena could look to see if there's anybody with a similar type of weaponry in the near vicinity, because it seems kind of strange to her that this guy would come by himself. So.
No, he's by himself, at least as far as you can tell. There's no evidence that there's more. There's certainly no one wearing the same clothes. He doesn't seem to have a squire or anything walking with him.
Okay.
Right. Now, that doesn't mean there isn't one, just as far as can be immediately seen. There isn't any evidence of it. No one looks fairly similar. There's no unattended kids walking around wearing similar, clothing or identification. It's pretty much just him. And about the time that the price reaches 550 again, the man in black stops his sort of, I don't want to call it battle of, eyeing each other down with Jurgen. He just breaks away and raises his hand again. And again, the crowd goes quiet. And several of the merchants that had stepped forward kind of go back to their stands.
Zygmunt will kind of swing down from his horse upon seeing this and walk over to the first merchant who had stepped up during the previous auction, and just basically, friend, why are you so intimidated by that man in black?
Who are you asking directly?
The first merchant that had stepped forward during the first auction. So
the man just kind of looks at you like you don't know who he is. Like, the colors, I mean, I'm not willing to get into a bidding war with them.
I don't see any of the other colors. He very well could be a vagrant who happened upon one of their cloaks.
The merchant just kind of smiles and that kind of, yeah, okay. Vagrants killing a member of the Order of St. Michael. You must be new here.
I mean, yeah, he is.
I must admit, I'm not from this area.
You'll learn. You'll see. If he's wearing those colors and it's not ripped or showing blood, a very good chance that he is who he's. Well, I guess he cannot say who he is, but very good reason to assume.
Zygmunt kind of turns and kind of sizes the man up. And seems
He's not
intimidating to me.
huge. No, he's not. He's definitely not a super intimidating figure. It's not about him. It's about who he represents. The Order is blessed by the Pope. The Order is blessed by the Emperor. We don't get in their way. They want that blood. If they're willing to bid, I'm not going to go against them.
Zygmunt kind of just nods his head. You can understand not wanting to go against the wishes of the Pope.
The auction
just seems odd to me.
Going twice. And the merchant says, if you're not from around here, you wouldn't understand, but just trust me, they're not to be trifled with. Certainly, whatever they have need for, Must be important. They tend to be buying it up from everywhere. It's hard to even get enough for lamps these days.
Ziggurat just kind of nods and walks away.
The auctioneer calls out, 550 going and sold. Again, to the man in the back.
This is purely out of character.
Yeah.
Because Jurgen would never tell Brita or Elena to do this.
Uh-oh.
But as we go into the auction with the partial barrel, we might get a better price if one of you were to distract the guy. Don't steal anything from him. Just keep him from bidding because you have boobs or because you're in his way or something.
Well, I was gonna say, Brita would kind of casually amble over to where Jurgen is, and without making it very obvious that she's speaking to him, and kind of speaking in a tone that is meant to not be heard beyond him, just be like, do you think that's the same one that was in the force the other night?
Jurgen, keeping his eyes forward, not really turning to look at Brita, just sharply nods his head forward, not saying anything in response.
I don't think anyone else is gonna bid if he keeps doing this. I think he'd run out of money at some point.
He represents the Order of St. Michael. Near as I've heard, their resources are nearly infinite.
So it's a shame we all came in together so that we can't just drive up the price artificially.
Yeah, but then what happens
Yeah.
if we actually win and then we don't have the money to pay ourselves? Like,
Elena, actually, I had thought of doing that. Maybe
Would
doing
have been a way to go.
yeah.
Until we get caught doing it, and then Elena's in a whole bunch of trouble for other reasons.
Well, Brita would kind of take a moment to try and, like, size up the guy without making it obvious that she's looking at him. And the sucky thing about this out of character is that she can't do much flirting when the other party is a holy man who doesn't fucking speak. But,
I mean, Elena is right there, and, like, I was planning on maybe having her bump into him as she's, like, walking back towards Jurgen. So, like, you know, she's clearly not interested in whatever the auction is, and, like, quickly walks away, but accidentally kind of bumps into him. Only accidents, it's in quotes.
actually, out of character and in character, I have a little idea that is stupid, but Brita would kind of go and meet Elena's eyes and kind of gesture with her head towards the guy and simultaneously start to kind of indirectly make her way over to him.
Elena would just kind of cock an eyebrow. She's not quite sure what Brita has in mind. So she would just kind of dawdle a little bit, kind of looking around in a little bit of a "what am I doing" manner. Still kind of keeping her eye on Brita, but also keeping her eye on the auction.
Okay, I need to know what you all are actually doing, because you did a
I
lot of
have
talking
no
there, and
idea.
I need to know the actual order of events in order to tell you what to roll.
Well, I don't think there's a roll yet. I was just gonna say, because I'm trying to think of how to actually convey to Elena to bump into the guy.
I mean, Elena was just gonna do it on her own anyway.
Yeah.
So, like,
Yeah. And okay.
does that go? What would that even be? I want to say it's phlegmatic, but I want to say everything is phlegmatic.
Well, are you trying to knock him over, or are you trying to just bump him? What is the...
I'm trying to bump him, maybe get him to drop something, and that way she's prompted to be like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry."
That's
type deal.
choleric.
Okay.
And if you're trying to sleight of hand, that's reflective. If you're trying to... it's like a lock. If you're trying to literally force the lock, it's choleric. If you're trying to pick the lock, it's reflexive.
So
makes sense.
in this situation, I'd say it's more of a picking the lock, because so she's bumping into him, but she's like trying to kind of slap something off of him. So maybe like a pouch or something, if he's got one. I don't know, Jay. Does he have
Or
one?
a sword.
I mean, he
Slap a
does have
sword out of
pouches.
his-
He has a sword, he has a dagger, he has a crucifix, he has very fine black, well, I wouldn't say silk, but like cotton dyed
Like,
shirt.
and then just kicking
Just
around like trying
slap
to
the
pick it up,
crucifix
like, oh,
right
no.
off his neck. We're going to hell.
Oh
Uh,
God, I'm gonna have
mean-
to burn all of you at the stake.
She's probably gonna just try to slap the like. It's gonna be
All right, that's
cle-
gonna
like
be-
not an attempt. It's gonna be even if he catches her in the act, it's gonna be clear that she is either the world's worst thief or she was not actually trying to steal something. Like maybe she reached out her hand to like
Okay, that-
grab something to like steady herself after tripping.
That is
Actually,
reflexive, that's not
Can I
collective.
interject before? Oh,
Oh, shit.
Okay. Oh my
Uh,
god.
Well,
Where were all those 12s from the adder?
So,
He used them on the adder. You just
yeah.
answered yourself.
Yeah.
Well, I was
So
gonna
that's
say
missing
that
one, so that would have been a 6. Because it was sleight of hand.
it's still a miss, isn't it?
still a
Yeah,
miss.
it's still a
It's
miss.
7 to 9, that's a partial.
So does she fall flat on her face? What happens here?
No, he grabs your wrist. The metal gauntlet hand literally like ratchets around your wrist. And when I say ratchets, I mean you actually hear it clicking. And the man in black literally locks eyes with you with almost the same kind of intensity as the ratchet on the glove.
Elena's going to kind of look a little bit shocked, but also innocent and kind of confused because she wasn't actually trying to steal anything, so she has no idea what in the world he was trying to do.
He has grabbed your hand between his cloak. So you would have had to reach into his cloak to have hit anything.
And about this time, Brita gets on top of them, figuratively speaking. She's not actually sitting on them. And she just kind of goes, oh, Elena, oh, I was looking for you everywhere. Oh, sir, I am so sorry. I don't really know what she was doing. She's not feeling very well these days, and she has a horrible habit of not keeping her hands to herself. I'm sorry. Elena, dear, please come with me. And she's, by the way, tried to time this, like, during the bid, so this man is actually distracted during a time where he otherwise would be bidding.
Elena's kind of looking a little bit sickly and confused. She's not exactly like whimpering, but she's.
Yes, Jay.
I'm gonna need you to Brita.
Yes.
Because, okay, the way this works, I can't roll. You all
Right.
have all the rolls, so you have to roll to distract him, otherwise he's going to take an action. So, okay.
Oh
I
wow.
got tits again!
You got so lucky. Because if you had failed that, he would have literally, like, cranked Elena's arm up to bid for her.
That's funny. All right, yeah.
Probably
no.
would have broken her arm in the process.
This whole time, Jurgen is trying to kill both of you with his eyes, for the record.
I guess Zygmunt's getting off his horse, getting ready to brawl.
No, she got tits. Everyone calm down, okay?
The man in black just looks upset and confused, but you can kind of see he reaches forward with his offhand and presses something on the gauntlet, and there's a click noise, and the hand releases.
And Brita just kind of takes Elena into her arms, kind of like she's guiding a child by the shoulders or something, and kind of gently brings her back around towards herself. And she goes, I am so sorry, sir. I see you're with the Order of St. Michael's, and I'm so sorry to have disrupted a holy man such as yourself in this manner, and I promise I will keep her under better wraps in the future.
Okay. As you say that, the man does the sign of the cross over you, basically saying, bless you, child, for at least being respectful.
Mhm.
Can I get a reflexive roll from Elena? Phlegmatic.
Yes.
Okay. His fist flies at you. Like as if to literally backhand you. But
Oh!
because you're so quick, you just it hits you, but you roll with it. So there is a smack sound, but you don't take any damage. It's much more audible than damaging.
Elena at this point is just gonna play the role of the confused, sickly waif and probably like kind of let out a bit of a sobbing noise, start clinging to Brita, and just, what's going on?
It's all
Why
right,
is this
honey.
happening?
Yeah, honey, we need to keep your hands to yourself in the future, Elena.
In
I
the
just-
background, In the background, you hear the auctioneer go, "Do I hear 700?"
Frida's not laughing. Darby's laughing. Frida's not cackling with victory.
I didn't want to interrupt that scene. I just want to let you know that.
Should Elena keep wailing?
By all means.
So she's probably gonna be like wailing a little bit and like, "I'm sorry, sir. I didn't mean to. I'm so sorry."
It's all right.
There's this look on his face like, oh, what the... he's obviously frustrated. This is not... He's going to have to explain why he's paying so much, pretty much, because of this. And he steps forward, and his hand shoots up, and it's like, "We've got 750, and the look on his face is just kind of like, "Oh, fuck. You did not."
And Frida...
you can almost see the auctioneer actually back up a little. And instead of waiting that usual time between, going like, do we hear 800? He's like 750 going once.
And Brita quickly starts to steer Elena away from him again, and she goes, "Thank you, sir. We won't take up any more of your time." And she just guards Elena away. She's like, "Okay, I don't know if that worked or not," but she just kind of shoves him back towards where Jurgen's standing.
Jurgen's
Elena's
doing his
kind of
best impression of that Simpsons gif where Homer sinks into the bush. He's trying to get out of sight of the man in black because he doesn't want to be associated with these two idiots.
Well, you're lucky because he walked forward away from you, so...
Okay, good.
Either way, Elena is probably going to actually, gently nudge Brita away from Jurgen so that they're not seen together, because it seems a little suspicious that the man that...
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
Yeah,
forget that she was going towards Jurgen. That was a bad idea.
It's okay. The waif will wail and... clumsily drag Brita in the opposite direction.
And once they get a reasonable distance away, Brita's like, "All right, shut up now."
Elena starts wiping her tears and was like, "You didn't have to be, so incredibly bitchy about that."
What do you mean, bitchy? I just gotta get the price climbed up a few hundred marks gold.
Only because you have the boobs to go for.
Okay, well, you didn't really have to try to pickpocket the man, is all I'm saying.
I wasn't trying to. I was just trying to distract him. He kind of caught me, though.
Well, be good or be good at it. And she just kind of brushes herself off and goes and finds a place to stand again.
I do believe Brita just told you to get good.
Yes, she literally did.
Elena's gonna kind of brush herself off and grumble just a little bit and be like, "We'll see how it can," or "I do when it counts."
Yeah, okay.
Anyway, about that time, the auction has concluded for the main barrels, and you can actually, the Man in Black has left this group at this point. He's probably off actually purchasing the barrels. But as they bring out the other barrel, they kind of mention that they're selling this in lots of 5 gallons, and you actually see a lot of more people kind of start showing up. This is much more in people's kind of,
price zone.
So they're going to start out. This will take a while. It's probably going to take several hours. And during this time, you really don't see much that would be super disturbing. A lot of smaller merchants, just buying little bits for lamps or for cooking units or house heating or those kind of things. The usual kind of shard tech that people have general access to. Is there something you all want to do to try to drive the price per unit up, or are you just kind of happy to let it go the way it goes?
Brita has, she's not going to be showing her face too obviously as a seller, so, because that's just inviting trouble after what she just did, so, she's just going to kind of be laying low.
Elena's still going to be in the back, kind of still talking it up a little bit, "I wonder what this is. I wonder, is this from the Aderjaegers that fought off the Adder recently?" Just talking amongst the crowd, trying to get the general flow of things. Maybe not, not advertising, but kind of planting the idea that, oh man, this is some good stuff.
Yeah, as you're going through the crowd, the general response to your statements like, "Oh, did that come from the Aderjaegers?" is, "Yeah, and I heard it was down by that sexy foreigner."
Oh, God.
You know what's the shitty part is I'm not 100% sure which player you're referring to.
They don't either. It's okay.
Okay.
Jurgen has pinched the bridge of his nose between two fingers and is working really hard to see if he can actually break his own nose with the force of how hard he's pinching it.
That would be a choleric roll.
I do not want to patch you up for that
That
bullshit.
said, they don't seem it being. I mean, they kind of assume like Aderjaeger brought it down. So trying to be like, oh, did the Aderjaegers bring this down is kind of a duh.
Well, yeah.
Kind of his question, but
more like, is this from the adder that was just down like yesterday, or is this from like a shipment that came in, or
It's from the local adder.
the local adder?
Homegrown.
yes, the auctioneer is already
local.
trying to
Open range.
organic.
Free range.
Yeah.
Farm
Very
fresh
good
Aderjaegers. Farm fresh Nurgles.
Okay. Anybody else? Zygmunt.
I don't have anything.
Okay.
This is not my
we're
scene.
just Okay, so I'm just gonna roll, and we'll get a random value for the rest of the per gallon. Okay.
Sounds good.
So you get about 624. That's really quite.
Yeah, that's
Average.
pretty good.
They did better than when the Man in Black was there. So
Yeah.
let's start calculating up some cash, shall we? All right. So at the end of the auction. Hold on, I gotta figure out how much is in weight. 42. Math. There we go. That's a good amount of change. Okay. Somewhere there's the sound of like the thing going, the number crunching. Abacus click clack somewhere in the background as the auctioneer does math.
Jurgen is furiously scribbling in his little account book.
All right. Okay, so for the first sale, you made 46,000. Actually, for the first 2 barrels, you made 46,200 golden. Straight off. That's just for the first 2 barrels. Those were the ones that were stuck at 550 golden per gallon. But you made almost as much on the 3rd barrel, where you got 31,500.
Hooray.
From that. The assorted, roughly 29 gallons that were left in the other barrel netted you 19,110. So altogether, we have a 19,110. 96,810 Reichsgulden from blood sales alone. You don't get all that, though.
Yeah,
Yep.
we're gonna lose 19%.
81% of that.
Yep, you're going to get 81% of that. Exactly. So that means you're going to be taking home 78,416 Reichsgulden and 10 silver pieces. Which is not a small chunk of change.
Now we need a shard guy.
Well, I think the engineering guild is probably gonna be our best bet.
We would probably want Burita to talk to them again, since she seems to be on good terms with them, and Jurgen is already kind of a butt in their face.
Yeah,
No, that was the collections guild.
Yeah, no, did I go to the engineering guild? Yeah, and I don't know if I consider it good terms. I got waved at. That was cool, I guess.
I mean, you're familiar with them.
I'm familiar with the door with the slot in it.
I mean, you can build up
Yeah.
a relationship, though, because they've
ass
seen your
door.
face before.
Oh, that's
You can build up a
debatable, but
relationship with the door.
I'm just the carrying man.
Well, we also,
Well-
what was the price quoted on our Kletterpanzerung upgrades, Jay?
10,000.
So that would, if we each get an upgrade, that's going to leave us with 28,000 Reichsgold. Jesus.
Is that each or total?
That's total.
1,000 each.
Actually, I mean, 28,000 is nothing to scoff at for total. And if we're getting the Clitter
But
Panzer
we need men and carts,
Yeah.
horses and carts.
those should still
And
be
food.
significantly cheaper. We just found out a full day's, like, a full meal is like a 1 Reichsgold. So
Well, okay, here's a question, Jay. How many people were in the group to begin with before they all got, decapitated?
Altogether?
Yeah. Before they got
Counting
juiced.
the ones that died, ran off, etc., there were probably 60 people total.
Okay.
Well, then we got to figure it's probably going to be roughly 60 Reichsgold a day to pay them, or to feed them. More to pay them. This is going to get expensive really freaking quick. 28,000 is not going to last that long.
You do still have shards to sell.
Yeah.
Shell. Sea stars.
Yeah,
By the
exactly
seashore.
what I was thinking.
We might want to see about getting ourselves at least one more cart. Because we've got the horses for one more cart. We might want to see about getting some porters and caravan guards first.
Because we probably need to pay, between pay and feeding an entire group of 60 people, we're probably looking at what, like 15 Reichsgolden per
Right,
person
that's
per
assuming
day?
we start at 60. I'm thinking we're not going to quite
Yeah,
get to that
I'm
number
just
yet.
saying a theoretical number.
Most
just-
smaller Aderjaeger groups are at 20 at most, just
Okay.
to give you a rough
Yeah.
idea.
That's kind of what I think we should be shooting for right now.
So
Yes.
for a full month's pay for 20 people, we're probably looking what, 15 Reichsgolden per day. I don't know what's fair, really.
No, 1 Reich Golden per day is totally fair per person.
Oh well, shit.
Or like a porter.
I'm being generous
You
with these
probably
people.
want to pay more, but any more than 10 would be like,
Oh,
Jesus Christ.
and I was saying 15. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to do 15, certainly they'll be loyal as hell. But it's also, you're overpaying them by an extreme amount, and unfortunately it's probably going to make you look like a target more than anything.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Right now you have Edward Storch. He's experienced. He was a guard. Now he's more of a driver because he doesn't really have much of a choice. He can't. He could probably hold his own, but it's probably best you don't put him in that position.
Right.
He's pretty much down to just his swinging brass balls at this point.
Alright, well, with our money, I really think what we need to do is probably split up into 2 groups. One goes to get another cart, and the other looks into some porters. Actually, we could probably swing getting some guards as well. But yeah.
Just good men.
Yeah, we need good men. We need good men. We need probably at least one more cart, because the blood alone was weighing us down, and we're talking about maybe even getting a lab on one cart, which
If we get some more horses, we can get some more carts.
But at this point, I think 2 carts is going to be enough to do us.
Well, while you all are discussing that, let's move on to Berthold and Edward Storch, who are back behind protecting your lovely goods that you didn't bring with you. Berthold, can you give me a roll to determine how well you're doing at... is that a card game you're playing with him?
Yes.
Well, are you betting on it?
Oh yeah, probably like this. What's the break like? What beside Reichsgold, and what's like the further breakdown of that? Is like
There's silver coins. There's small denominational coins.
probably that. Yeah, it wouldn't be that much because he knows that. What's the guy's name? Edward, you said?
Yeah, Edward Storch.
Edward probably doesn't have that much pay, so he doesn't, and he doesn't know if Edward's actually going to gamble anyway. So, what would I roll for that? Because it's a chance, I guess.
Is it a dice-based game or is it like a card-based game?
It's a dice game. It's called a House of Luck.
Let's go. You're not trying to cheat, right?
No. Berthold is definitely not a cheater.
This is where the 4-base stat system comes into a problem. We don't have luck.
Yep.
Let's go. I'm still gonna call there's a little bit of strategy somewhere in it. So let's just roll melancholic.
All right.
Oh, okay. Roll 1d100. You have taken him for about 8 Reichsgulden at this point, and he's not only quite surly, but obviously quite upset, and he's been making statements like, I've never met such a cheater in my life.
Oh, don't you worry. You'll get good pay, even if you're just the driver. You're the only one who remained loyal to us.
He slams back the rest of the ale. It's so damn quiet in this town. I thought, didn't that skinny one say there was somebody following her?
Yeah, I've been can actually follow up with a melancholic roll for observation. You'd be periodically would have been observing the crowds going about. You know, when you
go for it.
All right, 1 second. Let's see if I have.
Nope. Shit.
Nah, it's quiet, man.
Oh, I hate it when you do that, you asshole.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything that much. But you know, just be careful. But I haven't seen anything yet, so it was probably just a random person that this happened. We thought maybe, you know, it's Lena. She's paranoid like that.
Well, I gotta go take a piss. So Edward kind of grabs his crutch, and with surprising proficiency, despite he only lost his leg like 48 hours ago. Sort of by brute force of will and his rather well-developed upper chest, stands himself up and hobbles around the corner of the building, obviously trying to find a somewhat quiet place to use the restroom. He doesn't seem to give a care whether he's in public or not.
Berthold is just in case, he's going to position himself not so that he's like being creepy and like you can see Edward was doing it, but he's getting close enough just in case, because in case of any potential ambushes or anything like that, he's going to where we can still see the pile of plates and other supplies.
Okay, so you're watching the pile of stuff.
Yeah.
But you're not watching Storch.
No.
Okay, I really do need a melancholic roll at this point.
Okay.
Okay. You hear a sort of loud thump from around the corner. And then you hear what actually sounds a lot like a piece of wood falling over.
Edward, he comes over and investigates.
You can just see the edge of the crutch sticking out around the back of the building.
All right, well, he would bring his polearm about in front of him because that doesn't bode well potentially. I mean, he could just fallen, but just to be sure he's going to have it out in front of him as, you know, as a ready position. And he's going to turn the corner.
As you kind of turn the corner, you're kind of met with the image of 3 men with clubs. And Edward Storch back of his head is lightly bloodied. Not like you can tell he'll survive, but he's unconscious on the ground, hanging out.
I'd have been really pissed if he had died.
God damn it.
As you kind of come around, one of the first men just immediately lunges at you to try to clobber your head in.
Oh, you silly little man.
So give me a reflexive to, tell me how you'd like to deal with this man coming at you. This is a dodge versus fight back option.
Yeah, he's going to try to parry the blow, and then basically shove the haft of his poleaxe right into his face.
I mean, I should have stayed back with Berthold. This is the fun part.
So would that be a choleric?
Say that again. I'm sorry, he kind of broke out.
Okay, basically he's not going to dodge. He's first of all he doesn't have clip of pants on, but he's wearing his plate armor.
Right.
And he's going to parry with his with the heft of his poleaxe, and then shove it basically, and then shove the weapon right in the face, right at the bridge of the nose.
Well, those are two separate actions.
Okay,
You're
well,
getting your response. So the first one you're parrying, so that's actually reflexive.
Okay, sure thing. All right. Oh.
Oh, nope. You are going to take. Well, you would take 2, but you're only going to take 1 because you are wearing a helmet. So you take 1 point as they ring that bell-shaped helmet on your head.
Okay, and then he's going to.
Now it's your turn.
Yeah, there you go. Sorry. Then he's going to do the shove the poleaxe right in his face.
All right, give me a choleric.
Yeah.
You succeed.
You do that.
Literally, with almost no resistance, the pole arm, including the axe head, slides right through the man's face, and his head just sort of falls off to either side. He's not stuck on it, literally. He has been bisected through his face. The force of the pole arm quite literally caving in what it can't cut through. Alright, the other 2, one of them... Hold on a second. Give me a... Because again, I can't roll, so I need you to roll me a persuasive. Give me a sanguine. I want to see how much you scare the shit out of the other 2 thugs. You do not, never mind. But do mark XP for that.
Okay.
So the other man is dead. These are obviously some hardened street thugs. They've had a few comrades die. This wasn't someone they cared about particularly. And the first one that's closest to you kind of tries to tackle you to the ground. So how would you like to respond to that? You can attempt to just stand there and be a mountain, and that would be choleric, or you can attempt to dodge or parry or deflect.
Yeah, he's going to brace himself and sprawl basically, like right in his stance to basically better take the charge and everything. I mean, he's probably larger than the other guy.
Adder stance, okay.
Yeah. Yep, he's going to do a choleric.
Okay, choleric. You succeed. He kind of comes at you, and he strikes at you. He basically runs at you, goes ah, and strikes at you, but is not able to do. It's not very effective. He expected you to bowl over a little. You did not.
All right.
So basically, your armor deflects that point of damage, is what it is. All right, it's your turn.
He's going
no.
Other guy.
Yeah, other guy. You're at the top of the turn order. I got to get through these guys first.
Not a problem.
Other guy rushes at you and decides to brain you again, since at least it worked a little bit for the first guy.
He's going to would raising up his van brace to intercept the blow count as choleric, basically using his
anything that absorbs the blow is choleric. Anything that deflects the blow is reflexive. You succeed. You don't take any damage from that hit. All right, now it is your turn again, and you have 2 living targets.
Oh, well, gentlemen, you've made some mighty big mistakes. Mistakes were had.
I like the German Scottish that we're getting into now.
Hey, it's a whole new world, man.
A kilt sprouts up under his fucking skirt.
Try to with his polearm in one arm, he's going to grab the guy who's trying to kind of wrapped around his waist. He's going to grab him by the hair, pull him off, and then shove his face into his armored knee.
Ouch. Okay, so that would definitely be choleric.
Jesus.
Oh, fuck his face.
Literally, your armored knee breaks what bone was there. Nose shoved into the brain. He just falls limp in your arms and then to the ground. Or actually, you can hold on to him if you want. That's depends on how you want the scene to go. With a 12,
you have a club.
You tell me.
Yeah.
Beat him to death with his buddy. Beat him to death with his buddy.
Actually, I was going to ask. Well, I guess I got to wait till next turn to do anything with that. But he's going to hold on to him.
Okay. The other guy. No, there's one guy left. Roll me a sanguine. Does he lose his nerve? That's what I want to know. Yeah, he does. The other guy kind of, after bouncing off you, just gets up and tries to run.
Oh, can I
You
try
still
to
have action, yes.
yeah,
Your turn.
sweep him off his feet with the poleaxe. Like basically, he would toss the other guy to his side and then use the length of his weapon to try and sweep him off his feet. Blade first, so it doesn't care if he actually lops off a foot or not.
Okay, I will tell you, you'll need an actual success, so a 10 plus. A partial will just not have the range.
Okay.
You don't do damage, but you definitely put some extra pep in his step as he runs off down the alley.
Coward, come back here! Oh. Edward, are you
the
okay?
clip clop of feet just slowly echoing into the background. Storch just starts getting him. Ah! Oh, my head. Oh, is it still there? You can see his hand brushes back into his hair. Ah, not more of this stuff. As he looks at his bloody hand.
Get used to it. If it ain't bandits, it's going to be what Ada's calls it. Let's just hope we don't lose it. Now, we need to get back to the pile. I'm thinking this may have been a distraction.
Edward's story, as you help him up, he kind of looks down at his clothes. Ah, I pissed all over myself. When will my day get better?
Let's hope it's soon.
And you help him kind of hobble back to the stuff. You know, I gotta ask. I really gotta ask. I need you to roll me a melancholic roll.
Okay.
On top of that. Okay. You notice that one of the plates is missing.
Oh, those little shites.
It was a distraction. But unfortunately, they didn't have the 3 extra people they thought they'd have to carry off the rest of the plate.
Damn. Can I do another calculated methodical to see if he spots anybody might be carrying it?
No, you wouldn't see anyone. This happened at the beginning.
That's what I figured. Okay.
As soon as the guy heard the battle was going badly, he took his spoils and left. So you've lost about 30 pounds of plate. Not a significant amount, but
it's like 10% of what we had.
Well, you had about 10 plates, so yeah.
It was decimated. Our supply was decimated, Jay.
Yes.
By the chicken man.
Let's not get into that. Okay. About this time, if you all were you all going to return? Or are you staying at the market?
Elena would probably start heading back at this point. There's like, she would leave Jurgen to handle the actual like details of the sales and stuff.
Jurgen's gonna, after everything's finalized and he's got the gold and everything, he's just gonna kind of straighten up and look over sort of the crowd to see if he can catch any sign of the man from the Order of Saint Michael.
Give me a melancholic roll. You can see, yes, you can actually see that the man from the Order of St. Michael is still in the market. He seems to be buying things from some of the smaller vendors around the outer ring.
I was expecting you to say, because of the partial success, yes, and he's right behind you.
No.
He punches you in the nuts with that locking gauntlet.
Yeah. No, he grabs your nuts with the locking
gauntlet and pulls
you off the ground.
Oh, God.
That's just in the background to sass him with, hey, you're a holy man, you didn't need those.
Oh, God, that's the horrible fucking thoughts again with my fucking nuts just reflexively crawled up into my pelvis. Also, again, out of character, how much weight did we need? How many raw armor weight did we need for a Kletterpanzerung upgrade? Because I know it's 10,000 gold per person, but...
Yeah, it's about 10 pounds each.
Okay. Well, we could get away with selling some of that plate then at this point.
You could, but again, raw armor plate is also used for Aderwaffen, just like shards.
Oh, right. We would need it for the Aderwaffen. That's right. Shit. Okay. Well, after Jurgen spotted the man from the Order of St. Michael, he would just see him doing his thing and sort of head along home, back to the inn.
Okay.
And Rita would probably be with Elena. I guess she would have headed there too.
Zygmunt, you have the horse and cart.
Well, I guess we're going back.
Well, Jurgen would be moving with the horse and cart. He would be with Zygmunt.
Okay. Zygmunt, you didn't just turn around and walk back by yourself.
No.
Good news is the cart is now light enough that the rest of you could actually ride in it back to the saving you a little bit of time in transit.
Oh, well.
Actually, Jurgen's gonna walk, but as they're walking, he's just gonna kind of see, because the first night they were there, he ended up feeding soup and bread to some of the refugees. He's gonna see if any of them are still around. Just keep an eye open.
Give me a melancholic. No, you don't happen to see any of them. Whether through distraction or they're just not as many people as there were before. You don't really see them lined up. A lot of the miners have already moved south. You've been here for a few more days than I think it was originally intended. Arno was always the sort to sort of contract out most of this. But then he felt he was pretty much on top of the books. You were a much more, how should I say, hands-on accountant than Arno ever was.
Jurgen has style.
Anyway, returning back to the inn, you can see both Storch still somewhat bloody. His head has kind of been crudely wrapped by Helena, and Bertolt is there, his polearm smeared with blood.
Jurgen cocks an eyebrow and simply says, "Trouble?"
A bit. Unfortunately, I failed my duty. When Edward went to relieve himself for a bit, he was ambushed. I had to rescue him. Killed two of the bastards, but one of them managed to run off with one of the plates. That's my failing there. When it comes to the armor, if it comes short, it will be me who did not receive the last plate. That's on me.
Jurgen kind of cocks his head towards the pile of plates and steps around the building to see the two dead men.
Is our one-legged friend there still?
He's up front. He's got a, like I said, sort of a crudely wrapped head, and his pants smell of urine.
Brito would kind of go up to him and be like, oh, "Poor man, when are things gonna get easier for you, huh?" And she just kind of goes and starts poking around the bandage to make sure it kind of meets her standards of apparently fucking origami-styled art.
I mean, roll for it. Let's see.
Alright, hang on. What's my roll for that?
I can tell you just looking at it, you can tell it's not up to your standards, but it's not bad. Like, he'll survive. The question is, do you want to improve it? Then you would roll.
Okay, so I think I'm out of stock for using actual adder supplies for healing, but can she just apply generic first aid?
Yeah.
Okay, so is that phlegmatic?
I believe so, yes.
Reflexive?
Let me double
or
check
is
the
it
harm.
calculating? Yeah.
Let's see here. Healing. Just regular healing is melancholic.
Okay.
6 and lower, there's no effect. The wounds simply heal at their regular speed. 7 to 9 will heal in half the time, and a 10+, they'll heal 1 point of damage per night of rest. By the way, Zygmunt, you're fully healed.
Yeah.
Should have brought that up at the beginning.
I had already taken it off.
Okay, good.
Because it's 1 per day. Yep, we're good.
Okay.
Elena is going to have seen that this guy is in such sorry shape. She's going to have glanced over and kind of seen Berthold in equally bad shape, and she's going to be like, "Right, I'm going to go get you both a beer." And then waltz into the inn and then come back out, a couple minutes later with 2 full cold glasses, give one to Berthold and give one to Mr. One Leg that I can't remember the name
Edward.
of. Edward.
Mr. Storch.
And after Brita has satisfied herself with all she can do for Edward, she would go over to Berthold and
Oh,
ask him, "Do you need something?"
they just need a little bump. I'm fine.
Did he actually take any damage?
Yes, he did take
He did?
1 point
Alright.
of damage.
Then she would be like, "All right, well, sit down. I'm gonna take care of
He
this."
took all the damage in the surprise round, and that was it.
Sit down, boy. You're getting healed.
Yeah.
Get
Pretty
your
much.
fucking bandage tied up in a pretty bow for your hair.
Suddenly, Brita is the most Boston person here.
It's not even like one bow; it's multiple bows. Like it just looks
He's
like
it's got
floral
butterflies.
headpiece.
There's
My
one
God.
wound, but there's like 20 bows.
The blood has dyed it, so it's a contrasting red and white.
And she uses
Oh
the
my
red
God.
dyed bandages to make little roses that like form a little flower crown around his head. He looks beautiful.
Jurgen, what is she doing to me?
Jurgen just stands there stoically with one eyebrow raised. It actually begins
Zygmunt just
ascending
has the
off of
biggest
his
smile on his
forehead.
face.
His
Well, don't
eyebrow
look
is
at me
now
like that. If you get a head
levitating.
wound, you're getting a flower crown too.
Oh, God.
I think it's very fitting.
He's patched well up.
You didn't roll
I don't know.
quietly.
With that, no. When I just got a 13, I think I can definitely say he's gorgeous.
Yes, and I'll actually say you don't have to wait. You'll be healed by this evening, if it comes down to it.
Well, Zygmunt's going to take a look at the bodies that Berthold left behind and see if there's anything that's recognizable.
Go ahead. I haven't had a chance to look them over. I didn't
No,
want to...
there's not
Well,
much
like-
recognizable left.
Right. Well, yeah,
one
on their
had his
face, but like of their
completely
garb, I
crushed.
guess. Like, do they look like?
Peasants' clothes, quite literally.
Okay.
They have probably 5 Reichsgold between them if you wanted to take their little purses.
Which we should.
Yeah, Zygmunt will actually hand it to Berthold, and well, split it up as best he can. He'll give
5.
He'll give 2 to Storch and 3 to Berthold.
Bertolt will give her the rest of Storch to help recoup her losses for him losing the gambling.
This
Poor
is such a
Storch.
mess.
Did Berthold end up taking the beer that Alina brought him, or
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
not? All right.
I think
Yes,
this
he will
really,
thank her. He'll raise the glass to her and thank her.
I think this really highlights our need for some guards for this evening. I don't think we can put it off until the morning.
I would agree with that.
Jurgen kind of looks up. I assume it's sort of becoming evening.
Yeah, the sun is going to start setting soon.
I think our best bet at this time of night would be to check the bars and inns and see if we could find any fighting men having a drink. Perhaps we could even
Why don't I do that?
get their discuss their wits or discuss their pay while their wits are a little addled.
I can handle that.
Actually, can I use my passive power, ear to the ground?
Yeah, I think it can. That'd be safe to say.
Just so I can figure out if there's a bar I've heard about that would have, militiamen, guardsmen, some place that fighting men would be that we could hire.
I mean, you certainly can. That sounds like that your ear to the ground would be more... What's ear to the ground? Let me check this.
Rumors.
Ear for rumors, speak freely, always finds this man. I don't think you even need that, really. I think you could just quite literally ask. It just depends on what you're looking for. If you want to find mercenaries, boom, you can be found that really quick. If you want to find, like, someone legendary, that would be, like, ear to the ground. Like, where is this person, where do they live, or what do they eat nowadays? Where do they eat these days?
Gotcha. Well, unfortunately, I'm really not going to be looking for anybody legendary because I don't know any legendary
So you
names.
can pay a legendary person.
Yeah, also if we could pay one. Right now I'm just looking for mercenaries that we could hire as caravan guards.
Okay, so you're just looking for people to hire that have experience, kind of
Yep.
a thing? Okay. How many are you looking to find, roughly?
Well, I think we agreed that our company would be probably best suited to about a size of 20. So really becomes the discussion
Does that
of how
20
many...
include us?
No, I was going to say just our...
Biscuit probably does.
Well, it was...
Yes, typically the 20
Yeah,
does
okay.
include you.
Well, I just don't want our mercenary guards to outnumber us too much.
Okay, so you want to do like 5 mercenary guards?
Yeah,
And
something
then
like that.
Edward? Okay,
Yeah.
then yeah, 5 guards. 5 guards sounds good.
Okay. Are you going with Rita? Or are you just gonna throw out a price?
Gonna go with Brita so she can tits their price down.
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
boy!
then I'm gonna need a persuasive.
Sigmund will go along because I want to arm wrestle
From
somebody
me?
for respect.
Okay. We'll
You
get to
need
that at any time.
persuasive from me.
Yes.
Elena's
Brita.
gonna stick
Roll
with
for
the
tits.
armor.
Oh my
Giga
god.
tits!
Well, I guess we
Um,
don't need me, so never mind.
No, don't. We'll get to that. Hold on.
The tits are mightier than the sword.
So, yeah, you probably get 10 or 12 guards that flock to get the attention of Brita as she stands at the bar and starts looking for mercenaries and caravan guards. They very quickly forget that an Aderjaeger is asking them that. Simply because, well, boobs.
Oops.
Jurgen, you kind of have a captive audience as long as you're willing to talk from behind Brita. Because all eyes are on the front of her.
Yeah, well, Jurgen would step up behind Brita using her as his little podium. He would adjust the mic now sprouting from her head.
It's actually sprouting from her cleavage, but carry on.
I'm actually going to say that we need 5 caravan guards, and we'd be willing to pay 3 gold a day for caravan guards.
What do you want to pay?
3 gold a day.
3? Okay, you're gonna offer that. You'll probably see 8 or 9 of them say, "I can do that."
Okay. Out of those 8 or 9, Jurgen's going to point out to the 5 that's look the most reliable and the strongest. If I need to roll for that? See, just get a sense of character and physical strength.
Okay, that'd be a melancholic.
Okay. Yep.
Unless you're gonna pat him down, but I mean.
Oh my god.
Wow.
This is a good mission.
Yeah, you're able to definitely pick the best out of the group, for sure. You have 5 very able guards, at least based on physical capabilities. Very imposing.
Okay, then Jurgen's going to give the thumbs up and go watch Zygmunt arm wrestle somebody.
Please.
All right,
I don't know what I'm doing now.
Who are you challenging?
Well,
It's a bar full of imposing, gruff.
It's pointless now. We have the
mercenaries.
guards. I was gonna be like trying to win them over with strength, but I don't know if we need to do it
Well,
anymore.
now you can gamble. Out of character.
You can try
Jurgen
to
would never
hustle.
tell you. Yeah, you can try to hustle some of them for money.
Or
Just don't
lose a lot of money.
Well, just don't hustle the guards that we're paying because we don't want them grumpy with you. Hustle one of those other
Yeah.
guys.
No, Brita
Right.
has bought the guards that we hired a fucking round of drinks, and she is just being a social butterfly and making them all real happy.
Yeah, basically, Zygmunt's gonna find one of the guards that didn't get picked, who's like obviously pissed off and maybe starting to shit talk their company, and just try to shut him up.
None of them are really shit talking
okay.
the company so much as just kind of trying to get as much FaceTime with Brita
Ah, well, okay. I don't have.
as they can. But there's plenty of people there that aren't paying any attention to Brita too. Now there's quite a few that are, but it's a pretty big
I don't
ball.
know. I don't know. I got a 12. I
What?
think
What?
there's like
She's not good enough for
Clearly,
you?
the gay men.
yeah, the
You know,
gay men are
Most
paying
of them
attention to me.
seem far too drunk to be able to pay attention for anything for very long.
Okay, but tits.
Squishy.
Oh my
Well, if you want to
God.
put it right where they can grab it, that's a different story, but this can take a very strange turn. Plus, this is Zygmunt's seat.
Right. I don't know. This turned out a little bit different than I thought it was going to, so I don't really know what to do anymore.
Boobs are super successful, that's all
exactly.
I can say.
Exactly. I don't want to ruin the string of successes by
No.
me losing 30 gold in arm wrestling contest.
You could just call out and challenge.
Yeah, basically taking
the
all
bar.
comers. Yeah.
All right. So let's get a choleric roll. People step up.
God,
And
I'm
how
gonna-
much?
I'm
How
gonna
much?
ruin
They kind of ask how much you're putting down.
Let me check my personal stores here. I have 100 rice gold in total.
Yes.
Let's throw down 10.
All right. So you put down 10. Give me a choleric roll.
If If I had Albert with me, I could get another +1.
It is a long. I don't think that would apply.
Wait,
I'm sorry. I disagree.
Wait, can I? Is it possible that I help him with the roll by distracting his opponent?
Yes, because we do have helping roles, but we don't have relationships
anymore.
This is gonna make it difficult.
Can I just like roll for sanguine, and if it passes, then I distracted the dude, or?
Hold on, let me read something really quick.
Okay.
Helping a PC on a 10+. Okay, so basically, yeah, you're gonna roll sanguine on a 10+. You can add or subtract 2 from their roll. On a 7 to 9, I get to name a cost, and you'll get to do it.
All right, let's see if this success strain can keep it up.
Okay.
Could be worse.
You're able to distract him. Well, the person that he's obviously arm wrestling with, and Zygmunt, you have now won. You've won 10, so you're now you're 110 Reichsgulden. Unfortunately, you kind of leaving the group. One of the guards who wasn't chosen kind of grabs on and says, "Where do you think you're going?" and kind of grabs your arm and spins you back around.
And I guess Brita just rolls
inappropriate, touchy way.
I mean,
can I?
Zygmunt punches him in the face.
Oh, that works.
Choleric.
Ball, bro.
No, we're trying to hide these. Oh my god, no!
There he goes.
Wait, I have a passive for this. I calm people down.
No, I gotta describe the scene. I'm sorry. Normally I would let the player do it, but this is so good I have to let
Nobody
it go.
touches my company.
So, you've slammed the thing down, he goes, hey. Zygmunt stands up, turns around, and clocks the guy. The guy spins 3 times, you hear a snapping neck, and he falls to the floor dead. The person that was behind the person you just beat to arm wrestle just throws the 10 Reichsgulden down, puts his hands up, and backs away. And the entire bar just sits there silently for a few seconds before the bartender goes, I think you all should probably go now.
So 120 Reichsgulden is what you're telling me right now?
Yes.
Okay!
Well, we just straight up murdered that guy.
Wasn't he one we hired?
No, he was one that we didn't
wasn't
hire.
one of the
Oh, okay, then I don't care. Yeah, let's go.
And with you all leaving the bar, I believe that is a good place to call it for this evening.
Zygmunt's going to hell now. Going to hell.
Oh my god.
We just fucking murdered that guy.
Hey,
thank you all for coming tonight.
Thank you all for tuning in. Please tune in on Thursday for the Shield Against Midnight, a Call of Cthulhu game set in 1969. And tune in again on Sunday for Voices in the Wilderness, a 13th Age game set in 13th Age world.